Welcome to Working Dad Trader. In this video I wanted to share with you why I started trading. I'm just like anyone else, just a normal person, a normal dad, working hard, trying to do the best I can for my family. Working long hours, week in, week out, and you struggle by. And I just got thinking, what's it all for? Why are we doing this? All I am is surviving every month, going from payslip to payslip, just to covering my bills, paying my mortgage, year after year. And it just got me thinking when I started looking at the future, and I started planning for retirement and looking at what that might hold for me and my family. So you start looking at your company pensions and you look at the state pension and work out how much money am I going to have when I retire. And I soon came to realise that it's even in retirement, it's going to be a struggle from week to week. And I just thought, this isn't living, I need to do something to change this. So I started to look at all my bills, what was coming in from my wages and the family wages, and what was going out. We started to budget. And with that, we've tried to get a bit left over. But what to do with that bit of money left over every month? What are my options and how could I change this scenario? So I looked at the many options. One was a second job. Would me working a second job a good idea? I soon thought to myself, no, it wouldn't be a good idea, because I'm already working long hours, and if I do another job, then it's going to cut into my family time, and that's just not what I want. I want to be able to spend time with my family and my kids and enjoy that as well. Another option would be to possibly pay off my mortgage quicker, which is a good solid option. I could do that, and I still might well do that. It's good to get your mortgage down quicker. But at the moment I've got a pretty cheap mortgage and it's fixed for 5 years. So I was looking at other ideas. What about a cash ISA? Could I, what we have left, put into a cash ISA every month? I looked into the cash ISAs. You can use people like Martin Lewis. Go on the websites and look at different compare sites to look at ISAs. And at the very best, you're looking at 1% or less in interest. And that's normally if you fix your savings for 2 or 3 years. I thought, well, that's going to take a long time to build. And I worked out, if you go onto a compounding calculator, if I started saving £100 every month, which was surplus of not what we didn't need, £100 every month from now for 25 years, I would end up with £34,000, which you might say, well, that's not too bad. But then you look at the interest that I had gained in 25 years at 1% at best, and it's £4,000 of interest, which I didn't think that was very good, to be fair. So then I started looking into stocks and shares. Was it possible that someone like myself could get into stocks and shares? I was always led to believe it's for the rich. You need a degree in finance, you need to have been to university to play that game. And there's a lot of risk involved. You put your money in and it could all be gone. What would someone like myself, a normal person with at best of education of an AAT accounting qualification, and I've got little money? So I started Googling, out of interest, on Google, information about getting into the stock market. Is it possible? Could I buy shares? Started reading books, and of course I started watching YouTube videos. So from that, I sort of fell into Forex trading, which is trading foreign currencies. You can start with little money, and it's quite easy to get into quite quickly. But I sort of, in my own mistakes, I fell for, because it's full of advertisements, the get rich quick schemes that are advertised all over the internet, all over YouTube. And I tried all these different systems from these so-called experts that know what they're doing, and they guarantee all these massive success rates. I tried to follow all these different patterns that were winners. If you follow certain patterns and you follow certain candlestick shapes, and I just found that the majority of it never worked, and it was just like way above my head. I just was like, I don't really understand this, and the amount of time you have to put into watching the screen on Forex trading, I just felt like I'd need to spend hours and hours and hours a day watching the screen for just movements. I soon realised that it's not easy to do Forex trading. Maybe it's me and it wasn't for me. Maybe other people can be successful at it, but I found I didn't have the time. Maybe I didn't have all the full education, but I just found it very difficult. It's really difficult to predict which way a foreign currency pair is going to go from day to day or hour to hour. And I found that you can lose money really, really quickly trading Forex. Thankfully, I only ever tried Forex trading in a demo mode, where you get, on some demo modes, 50,000 to practice with, if you like, because I would have seriously lost some money. You can just lose it so quickly. So after that, I decided, after a good 6 months of trying to understand Forex trading and learn Forex trading, that it really wasn't for me. So I looked at other options, and I looked into long-term investing. Would that be a better option for me? So with long-term investing, obviously you don't have to spend so much time at the screen, which was a plus, because I'm working all the time, and I'm also spending my other days off with my family. It could be with childcare, or we're going out. So I don't want to be spending hours upon hours and hours looking at screens. So long-term investing ticked a box straight away, that I would have to spend less time. I looked into it, I did a lot of research, and it is possible that, obviously if you're lucky, over the long term, on average, you could make returns of around 5% a year. So then I compared that against the 1% that an ISA would give me. If you can get a good ISA, that would give you 1%. And I worked it out on a calculator. If I saved £100 a month for 25 years in the stock market, and I averaged over those 25 years, obviously some years could be more, some years could be less, but on an average of 5%, that would return me after 25 years £60,000. With that £60,000, I would have earned £30,000 worth of interest. Now this was more appealing to me when I compared it against the £34,000 an ISA would return me. That was like, wow. That's going to be a massive help in my retirement if I could save 60,000 compared to 34,000. So then I need to look at, I need a user-friendly platform to trade with, because as a beginner and as someone who is only a basic trader, I need something that I could understand. Because in the trading world, there's a lot of jargon, a lot of fancy words and fancy names, and to be fair, you don't really need them. So with that, I needed to look with a platform that would have low entry fees to use. I didn't want to be having to put thousands of pounds in before I could even start trading. And I needed a platform that would have low charges and obviously good for beginners. I've tried a couple of platforms, and the best one I found so far is Trading 212. It's easy to use, there's no fees, they make their money through the spreads from selling and the buy, and you can start with as little as £1 deposit from the start. So that got a big tick for me. So don't get me wrong, you still need to do your research before you start going out and buying stocks from, like, if you're running into a sweet shop buying anything on the shelf. It's 80% of people lose their money when trading stocks. So there's obviously a lot of people out there are making mistakes, so you really do need to do your research. So I did a lot of reading again and a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of finding information out on the internet. And it basically comes down to this. You need to pick really good companies. And a lot of the time, the good companies you probably use yourself in your own life. So I started thinking about what companies that I use in my everyday life, my family's everyday life, and how these companies we use and how they affect me. So you start looking at, you get a bit of paper and you start jotting things down. What do you like to buy? What do you buy when you go shopping? What shaving foam do you use? What soaps do you use? What shops do you like to go out and go shopping in? What clothes do you like to wear? Who's your phone contract with? Who's your TV contract with? Are you with Sky? Are you with Netflix? What social media platforms do you use? Are you using Facebook? Are you using Twitter? These are all companies that then you can say, well, I use all these products, so they must be a good start to look into. So then you can start with these companies after you've wrote them down on how they affect your life, because you know these companies, because you use them. And they're a pretty good starting point. So then you can start looking into the future of these companies. Do these companies have a future? So it's the best thing from there is to start learning the basics of the financial reports. And you might think, what? Financial reports? And yes, there's a lot of numbers, but you can get the information off Google and learn the basics of just being how to read them. There's plenty of sites out there, there's plenty of free material to help you learn how just to read the basics of the balance sheet and the cash sheet and stuff like that. And to get the numbers, which are generally free, if you use Trading 212, they will give you information of the financial reports. And you can also use Yahoo Finance, which is free, and will also list a company's reports for the last 3, 4, 5 years. I started using Trading 212 in April, and so far it's been pretty good. And I'm just a normal person, just a basic person, that with little knowledge, and I found it really easy. I've only put small amounts of money in because I don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. And so far, I'm doing well. And normal people really can do this. And I'm confident that if I can keep going and doing this, that I can make a better future for my family. In future videos, I will go through and show you my Trading 212 portfolio so that you can see for yourself my portfolio, what companies I'm interested in and what companies I've bought. And I can show you in future videos how I pick stocks and what I basically look for in a company. It doesn't have to be really, really in depth. I mean, obviously, if it's good to do all that, then great, but you can make a good start just by picking good companies. So if you like this video, please give me a like, because that would be really great. And if you want to see more of my videos in the future, then please subscribe. I'm just a hard-working dad, trying to trade for a better future. We can all do this, so join me for the journey, and thanks for watching.